afternoon, everyone. I'm Leon Bibb. Jobs will be at the top of the agenda. President Obama is visiting Northeast Ohio today to talk about reviving Ohio's economy. Air Force One touched down at Hopkins Airport just a few minutes ago. The president is going to travel across town to Shaker Heights, where he will talk about his plan to create jobs. That is where News Channel 5's John Kosick is right now. We'll bring John into the conversation. John, set the stage for us.
Yeah, Leon, we're about an hour away from the president's remarks here in Shaker Heights, and with that, about an hour away from really the launching off point of the 2012 race for the White House. The focus will, of course, as you say, be on the economy. Here in the gym of Shaker Heights is a big sign off to the side. You can't see it, but it says, "We can't wait." It's a sign of the urgency that the Obama team wants to show not only Shaker Heights, but Ohio and Middle America, that they are placing on fixing the economy. That he has come here to Ohio, a sign that he recognizes the importance of the state, that he has come here to Cuyahoga County, equally symbolic. His margin of victory here in the county equal to his margin of victory in the state in 2008. And of course, with Ohio came the White House. Now, if you follow the Republicans into Iowa and New Hampshire, you know the president and the policies have really come under attack. You can expect him to begin a vocal defense of his actions here today. You can also expect him to push strongly for Congress to extend beyond the first 2 months of the year the middle-class tax cuts that were set to expire. Now, what will be interesting to see here in Shaker Heights today is that the president talks about housing. Many economists believe that you cannot have an economic recovery until you put a bottom on housing, and in the inner ring suburbs of Cuyahoga County, in areas that have been very favorable to the president as far as voting is concerned, these are areas that are particularly hard hit right now with underwater mortgages. So messages along those lines will be very well received here today. We have a lot of high school students from Shaker Heights High School here in attendance, getting a civics lesson, of course. But we also have a number of Democratic dignitaries, something we haven't seen entirely in the past with the presidential visits. Congresswoman Marcia Fudge and Betty Sutton here in attendance, as well as county head of the county, Ed Fitzgerald. So we will have much more on the president's speech here today in Shaker Heights, the ground he expects us to cover and the stage he expects to set for the race ahead here in 2012 on News Channel 5 and, of course, on Newsnet 5. Reporting live in Shaker Heights, John Kosick, News Channel 5.
John, before you get away, let me ask you, about what time do you expect the president to walk in there into the Shaker Heights High School building and address the crowd?
The president is expected to have his remarks about 1:15. He'll probably speak for about half an hour or so. But again, expect to hear a different tone from the president, especially given the attacks that he has been under the past several months in Iowa and New Hampshire.
And one more thing, John, this is a friendly territory for the president. He was at Shaker Heights not too long ago, and a lot of people said it was surprising that he was back so quickly. But indeed, this is friendly territory for President Obama there in Shaker Heights.
His appearance here is, of course, this is the most democratic of the congressional districts in the state of Ohio, but the Republicans are pointing out that he came here to Shaker Heights in 2009 to light a fire under his push for health care, a push that ended up not really going as far as he would have liked. So it brings up a failure in their mind, his appearance here today. So that's something that they're looking to capitalize on today, saying, pointing out some of the failures of his presidency.
Okay, many thanks, John Kosick, handling the story for us from Shaker Heights. We want to touch bases now with Cokie Roberts, who is reporting live from Washington, D.C. Before that, though, I want to remind you that you can stay with News Channel 5 and Newsnet.com for continuing coverage of the president's visit to Northeast Ohio. We'll have live reports on air as well as updates on Newsnet 5, and we will alert you with our mobile apps. Now let's bring in Cokie Roberts from Washington, D.C. Cokie Roberts, political commentator. Good to have you with us. Let's get right to it, Cokie. First off, thanks for being with us. We do appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about Iowa.
Well, nice to be with you.
The latest developments out of Iowa, Michelle Bachmann's decision to drop out of the race. Give us your thoughts about that.
Well, she really had no choice. I mean, she was born in Iowa. She went all around Iowa to all 99 counties and traveled thousands of miles. All of her eggs were in the Iowa basket. And she did very poorly there, so there was really no way to sustain a campaign beyond that. And she did the only thing she could do, which was say, it's over.
What about Romney last night and Santorum? Was this really a victory for Romney to celebrate, despite winning by 8 votes? Some called it a dead heat with Romney and Santorum each getting 25% of the vote. Was this really a victory for Romney?
Well, he won. It's better than losing, but winning by 8 votes is not what you'd call a resounding victory. And of course, he spent millions of dollars. His supporters spent many millions of dollars. And Rick Santorum ran this shoestring campaign, although he was there, living in the state for a very long time, and probably shook every, at least Republican hand in the state. And it is a state that's very amenable to Santorum-type candidacy of religious conservative voters who share his values. And so I was not at all surprised that he did well there. But now the question is what happens going forward. And you in Ohio are going to be a huge target of Santorum's message because, of course, he's from neighboring Pennsylvania. He has done well among the kinds of voters that you have in both states, the so-called Reagan Democrats. I think that you're going to hear a lot more about I'm up from working class, I'm for the little guy, than you did in Iowa. And he's going to be putting himself economically in pretty much the same place as Barack Obama, positioning himself against Mitt Romney as kind of the rich guy speaking for Wall Street rather than Main Street.
Cokie, what do you think this says about the polls? Because just a few weeks ago, Rick Santorum was left for dead in the polls, and now he's saying game on. What does this say about the polls? They seem to be up and down every day.
Well, you know, first of all, Iowa caucus polls go a month out are terrible always, and in fact, a huge number of his voters decided within the last few hours, last few days, or in the month of December. So the polls back then were probably representative of what was true then, but what was true last night was something else altogether. But it was predictable. I mean, I did predict that he would either win it or come in second a month ago because he is the kind of candidate that Iowa Republican caucus goers like. I think that one of the things that we're seeing is that the polls are up and down because the Republicans just haven't settled on a candidate. And Mitt Romney is the front runner, but he's a front runner at 25%. And so we keep seeing, you know, I keep saying it's whack-a-mole. You know, you keep seeing a candidate come up and then he gets knocked down, and then another one comes up and he gets knocked down. And obviously Newt Gingrich got knocked down last night as the most recent candidate to have come up. And Romney just has to hope that the next one that he gets the mallet on the head is Rick Santorum. But he can't be confident of that anytime soon.
Well, the political race indeed is on there in Iowa, and now on to the next state. Many thanks, Cokie Roberts. We appreciate your expertise and your thoughts on this.
Okay, have fun with the president there in Shaker Heights.
We will have fun with Mr. President here in Northeast Ohio. Many thanks, Cokie. Appreciate it.